Good afternoon, and welcome to Stories of the Soul radio show. Today is October the 16th, 2022. What an amazing day it is. This is a day that we've never seen before. I've never seen this minute before, this second before, this hour before. So I'm just humble and grateful. This month, October, is a month that we celebrate breast cancer awareness. For those of you who don't know, I am a 5-year cancer survivor. I'm grateful. I'm so humble and grateful. However, it is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. For the life of me, I don't know why they would put those two together, but hey, that's society for you. So I'm not going to be long. I do have a guest that's going to be coming on next week, but I wanted to just drop a couple of nuggets on you on domestic violence and let's just talk about it. Let's just have a conversation about it. Well, what is domestic violence? Well, domestic violence is a pattern of abusive behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner to gain or maintain power and control over another intimate partner. So domestic violence can be, between two heterosexual individuals, two gay individuals, or whatever type of relationship there is that's considered a domestic violence um, abuse situation. Times and things are different. It's funny because when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, there are tension building phases, violent episode phases, and remorseful honeymoon phase. And I thought about, where does domestic violence come from? Where did it originate from? Where did it start? And I can just remember coming up as a young girl, in my household and some of my family members' household, we were disciplined. It was a form of punishment when you did something that was deemed as wrong or inappropriate. And we would get hit with a belt, hand, shoe, whatever. I know some of y'all have experienced that and some of you may not. Now, I will say this, my oldest son, he always reminds me that he had it the hardest. And so with him, when I disciplined him, I did use a belt at times. But early on, I stopped. I think he probably maybe was about 5. I didn't like it, right? I started seeing a pattern. I'm like, well, Yolanda, these things was done to you. You didn't like it. So here you are kind of doing the same thing, right? So when we see things, when we grow up around things, that's why it's important to monitor what we watch, what we see, who we have our children around. If all you see is somebody being abused and how to handle and deal with conflict, then that's a problem. Coming up, where did this originate from? Where did this start? Okay. So, some points that I want to bring up about domestic violence is that 1 in 3 women and about 1 in 3 men in the United States experience intimate partner violence in their lifetime. 1 in 3 teens experience dating violence. Those who identify as non binary or LGBTQ are often even more likely to experience abuse. And what I want to say is, I wrote a book called Antidotes of the Soul, a memoir by Yolanda Thomas. You can get it on Amazon. I'm running an ad right now, so it's on a special. And one of the things that people have shared with me in private is that they were abused verbally, mentally, and sexually. Some of them never told anybody about it because of the embarrassment. They felt that they were weak. And I want to just stop by to tell you that you are not weak. And I want to just throw this disclaimer out there. I'm not a licensed family practitioner. I'm only sharing with you my life experiences. Now, with that being said, I am part of different organizations and I've had different trainings and I have certificates. I'm certified in emotional intelligence and I have some other certificates. But what I will say is that it doesn't make you a weak person, especially when this person is an adult, right? When you are a minor, when you are a child, that adult is held at a high level of responsible. And a lot of times they don't like to take on that accountability or that responsibility. when you are in a relationship, whether there is a marriage or there's a friendship, they're being bullies. They're trying to manipulate you. And it's been situations where I had someone tell me that she felt like she wasn't loved unless she was being hit. And of course, my job and my role is not to put anyone down or to judge anybody. For the life of me, I just couldn't understand where she got that concept from. Where did we get to a place in society where we feel like being hurt, whether it's physical or emotional or spiritual, means that if that doesn't happen, you're not loved? Well, me personally, I don't want to be hit. I guess I just won't be loved because, coming up, I had some challenges. Read my book, you'll know about it. I was hit. I was abused, and I did not like that. And I don't like that as an adult. I don't want that type of love. Love, let me just say this, loving yourself means not only do you treat yourself right, you hold other people accountable for treating you right. Someone shared with me that they have a daughter, and her grandchildren has been abused by their stepfather. And that has to be hard because you as a grandmother, you want to step in and do things, but if the children is not admitting to it, and if the parent is not admitting to it, there's not much you can really do. So I want to just say this: anybody that's listening, if you are in a situation where you are being physically or mentally hurt, and you're in the Bay Area, I want to give you, actually want to give you two numbers. The first number I want to give you is called a safe place. Um, and the number is area code 510-536-7233. Please don't be ashamed to call. This is all confidential. 510-526-7233. It is a safe place in Oakland. Um, a national hotline number that I have that I want to give to you is 1-800-799-7233. This is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Um, there's different languages, Spanish speaking, English speaking, whatever language that you need to speak, there are resources you can be helped. So there are people who have shared with me they couldn't leave the situation because of finances. And so times are different now, times have changed. And of course, no one wants to be in a shelter. I understand that. But what I want to reiterate to you, what I want to share with you is that when you stay in those abusive relationships, and especially if you have children, they see those type of behaviors. It causes trauma not only to you, to them. And then what do you think end up happening as they grow up into a teenage and as an adult? The cycle just continues on. They begin to abuse their girlfriend. They begin to abuse their children. The cycle just never changed. And so just some tools that I can think of that we can use. There are people that you can talk to. You can talk to, for example, if you go to school, there's your teacher, there's counselors, there's the principal, and there's the police department. You have CPS, you have family members. And I will say this: if you have reached out to any high authority and you're not heard, you're not listening to, don't give up. Go to the next person. Somebody will hear you. It really breaks my heart when I hear people say, well, they can't leave because of finances. And that's important. That's huge. If you leave a abusive relationship that you're in and they're the breadwinner and you don't have any money, what can you do? So again, there are different resources that you can call. There's different people that can help you. There's victims of violence crime. There's Section 8. There's emergency Section 8. So there's different things and different tools that you can utilize without letting your partner know that you're seeking help. My prayer goes out to anybody that's in a domestic relationship um, situation. And it happens more than you think. It happens in churches. It happens within politics. It happens within the police department homes. You would be surprised at some of the people that have shared with me that they are either emotionally or physically abused. And that's something that you don't have to continue to tolerate. Times are different, things are different. I know back in the day, if the police was called, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes the police officers would take the side of the male, but it's not that day anymore. you know you have people and you have tools that you can utilize. Domestic violence, we should be able to effectively communicate with one another without putting our hands on somebody. I had someone tell me that the reason why they hit their significant other is because he doesn't listen to her. And I said, oh, I didn't know you was her mother, his mother. Actually, I didn't even know you was his wife. That's even worse. And so she says, well, he doesn't listen to me. Well, then maybe you should take a break from that relationship, or maybe you should leave that relationship. You know, um, my thing is this: treat people how you would like to be treated. And sometimes you got to be careful in saying that, because some people like being hit. I've had people tell me that they like being hit. They said, you know what, being hit means that that man loved me. I for the life of me, if you could tell me where that concept come from, I have no idea, because that's, to me, I don't understand that. I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't understand it. So, the cycle of abuse is a four-stage cycle used to describe the way abuse sometimes occurs in relationships. The stages are tension, incident, reconciliation, and calmness. And then you kind of just repeat this. Have you ever been in a situation where someone hits you and then they tell you they're not going to do it again, and then time go by and then they do it again, and then they do it again? You know, um, Me and my son, Minister Timothy Webster, we was having a conversation yesterday, and we were just talking about personal growth and what that looks like to him. And in general, do people look for personal growth? Do you just stay how you are? Do you look in the mirror at ways you can better yourself? I can pride myself and pat myself on the back and just saying that I'm always working on improving myself. I'm always working on growing and nourishing. I don't know it all. I have a friend, she's trying to get me into real estate and into doing loans. So I was like, I'm not that good in math. And she says, girl, you got a college degree. And I said, what does that have to do with anything? People seem to think that because you have a college degree, you know everything. That is not true. I don't care if you have a PhD. I don't care if you're a lawyer. I don't care if you are a doctor. I don't care whatever profession you may be in. You don't know everything. There's always room for growth. Half of the stuff I learned in college, I don't remember anyway. Let me just tell you something. My degrees is important to me. I've never been a person into titles. That's just me. Some people are into titles. I am not. I have a master's degree, I have a BA degree, I have an AA degree, I have several certificates, I have several certifications, right? But that doesn't make me a know it all, and that doesn't make me better than anybody. It just means that I like learning, I like to grow. And with that, it has helped me throughout my life, even with different organizations that I volunteer for. I'm able to utilize my skill set. Sometimes I'm able to be like, oh, okay, this is where my education may come into play. But how I'm able to effectively help people is through my experiences. Oh, absolutely. Through my testimonies. That's how I've been able to be successful within my right. Do I have it all together? Absolutely not. I'm going to continue to learn, and I'm going to continue to grow. In any way that I can help encourage and uplift somebody, then that's my goal. That's my objective. My motto is, if I'm not giving, YT is not living. And for those of you who don't know, YT stands for Yolanda Thomas. That's just the shortness of it. So let me see. What is the relationship assessment tool? So this is a screening tool for intimate partner violence, and the tool was developed by Dr. Paige Hall and colleagues in the 1990s. And it was originally named the Women's Experience with Battering. So there's different tools that you can go ahead and that you can utilize. Go online, um, clear your history, right? You don't want your partner to see that you're seeking help, because I don't want to put anybody in a worse situation, or I don't want nobody to be hurt. But there are different leaders that you can talk to that can help you. Never feel like you have to be in that situation. Also, don't never beat yourself up. Some people feel like they don't understand why they didn't leave. It is just trauma. Hurt people, right? So if that person hasn't gotten help for the hurt that they have may been in, right, and you haven't sought out or got help for the different trauma that you have, the cycle just will continue. Then it goes into our children. Then you want to know why Johnny and Pookie and Ben and Jeremy and Nick and I don't know, whoever is committing these acts as an adult, is because of the cycle. The cycle was never changed. It was never addressed. And in some communities, they feel, oh, it's bad to get counseling. Oh, ain't that wrong with me? It's not saying anything is wrong with you. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. Sometimes somebody else on the outside looking in can have a different point of view. I love therapy. I sure do. When I went through my breast cancer stage, right when I was done, I got depressed. I didn't understand. I'm like, wow. And it's funny because while I was going through it, I was cool. I was strong. I was courageous. I'm like, I got this. But the minute I was fully um, in survivorship and remission, I got a little sad. It was just wow. And, I talked to a therapist and they said a lot of times this happens. I had counseling before over some different things. She shared with me, Yolanda, you don't set boundaries. And I'm like, really? And although I do set boundaries, I didn't stick to them. So that's just the big thing. You know, um, Everybody makes mistakes. None of us are blameless. All of us sin. The Bible says, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So we all can learn from one another. And sometimes we do make mistakes and we don't repeat it. And sometimes we do repeat those mistakes. But as today, this month is domestic violence awareness, I just want to encourage, I want to uplift someone that there is help for you, there is a voice. If you need those numbers, I can repeat those numbers to you again, where you can call 1 800 799 7233. This is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And then if you're in the Oakland Bay area, there is a safe place in Oakland, number 510-536-7233. I can also be of some help to you. I probably will refer you out, but I can definitely try to help you utilize some tools. You can email me at yolanda.thomas76@gmail.com. So I promised you I wasn't going to hold you long on this day. I'm kind of sad. My 49ers lost to Atlanta today. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back next week. We're going to win. We're going to be out here in Santa Clara on the field. And that's okay, 49ers. We got this. We got to keep the faith. We got to keep going. We got to have a positive outlook. Thank you for always listening to Stories of the Soul. I appreciate my audience. Next month and in December, I'm moving forward to having more guests on the show. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, please reach out to me at yolanda.thomas76@gmail.com. You want to be a guest on my show, you're more than welcome. Tune in every Sundays at 4 o'clock to Both Sides of the Conversation. You can catch that on Facebook. You can also listen in on Tuesdays for what are our shows for the gyms, and then on Sundays at 4 o'clock, and then Thursday, Educational Thursdays. Yeah, but tune in. Thank you for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you, and you can make it. Yes, you can. Keep going. Don't give up. Anybody that's going through breast cancer right now, I'm sending positive blessings and love to you. You can make it. There are resources and there are tools for you as well. Always look to get a second opinion. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.